Here's the 30-second lesson on what legends know. Never practice nunchucks in a crowded room. Never eat chole before a road trip. Always take your shirt off before you iron it. Don't take a call near a swimming pool. And don't forget, saving is not investing. Legends don't just save, they invest in mutual funds. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Over 100,000 new jobs, 109,589 to be precise, were created every day in 2023-24. I have arrived at this daily figure by breaking down the annual figure of 4.7 crore new jobs created in the last fiscal, as the RBI has said in its report. The economic survey presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in Parliament deals with the job scenario at great length. I am starting with these figures in this episode of Politically Correct to try to understand why the BJP is doubling down on Hindutva when the opposition thinks that issues like unemployment and poverty did the BJP in the 2024 Lok Sabha election. In India's neighborhood also, in Bangladesh, jobs and reservation are dominating the national discourse until the Supreme Court slashed the quantum of controversial job quotas on Sunday. Dhaka streets were reverberating with slogans of Tui ke, Ami ke, Razakar, Razakar, Ke boleche, Sarachar, Sarachar. Who are you? Who am I? We are Razakars. Who is branding us? The dictator, the dictator. Razakars were collaborators of the Pakistani army in the country's liberation war in 1971. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina might have unwittingly queered the pitch by comparing the protesters with Razakars. I refer to the developments in Bangladesh because our opposition leaders are watching them very keenly. It bolsters their belief that reservation and jobs are the things to focus on. Anyway, after this long prelude, you can call it my sales pitch, let me revert to the main subject and try to make a sense of the current debate on unemployment and Hindutva. Speaking at an event in Mumbai early this month, Prime Minister Narendra Modi cited the RBI report on employment and said that 8 crore new jobs were created in India in the last 3 to 4 years. And it silenced those, as the PM said, spreading fake narratives. The opposition was quick to pick holes, predictably. By telling one lie after another on jobs, you are rubbing salt in the wounds of the youth, Congress Party's communications chief, Jairam Ramesh said. He questioned how the RBI arrived at this figure when it did not disclose the sector-wise breakup as it did in the past. My colleague TCA Sharad reported that over 37% of women counted as workers in the RBI report were doing unpaid work in quotes. Unpaid helpers in household enterprises constituted 18.3% of the workforce in 2022-23 as per the periodic labor force survey. For instance, if a person is selling pakoras at a stall, with his wife frying them and the daughter or son serving them, they are all counted as employed. As per PLFS 2022-23, 20.9% of the workforce in India are regular wage salary employees. Others include unpaid helper, casual labor, and own account worker and employer. Opposition's criticism aside, the Economic Survey 2023-24 sought to revalidate what PM Modi suggested in Mumbai, that India has witnessed a notable transformation in its employment landscape. Its detailed accounts of the Modi-led government's achievements in creating jobs had a catch. And here I quote from the survey. Estimates show that about 51.25% of the youth is deemed employable. In other words, about 1 in 2 are not yet readily employable straight out of college. However, it must be noted that the percentage has improved from around 34% to 51.3% in the last decade, unquote. Official employment data might paint a rosy picture, but the government was quite uncharacteristic in its tough talk with the main job creator, the private sector. And I quote from the survey, India's corporate sector never had it so good as profits quadrupled between FY20 and FY23. Hiring and compensation growth hardly kept up with it. But it is in the interest of the companies to step up hiring and worker compensation. Unquote. The private sector then came in for more flack in the survey for their substantial and myopic contribution to the toxic mix of social media, screen time, sedentary habits, and unhealthy food that affected India's working age population. Mind you, these adjectives have been used in the survey, these are not my adjectives. The tough language somehow did not seem to be in sync with the government's claims about employment growth. Anyway, trust the opposition to question the government's claims about employment generation. They look convinced that issues like unemployment, inequality, and poverty trumped Hindutva and PM Modi's popular appeal in the 2024 Lok Sabha election. How else would one look at PM Modi's victory margin getting so much reduced in Varanasi? Or for that matter, the BJP's loss in Faizabad, the constituency where Ayodhya's Ram temple is located, and in UP as a whole, or the Congress retaining Badrinath in the assembly by poll. These questions actually come from opposition leaders when you ask them why they believe Hindutva did not work. So if day-to-day concerns like unemployment have started swinging voters as the opposition seems to believe, why is the BJP doubling down on Hindutva? UP and Uttarakhand governments instructing eateries to show owners nameplates on Kamariyaj routes, and BJP MLAs demanding the same in Madhya Pradesh are not coincidental. One needs to see them in the context of what other top BJP leaders are doing. Union Home Minister Amit Shah was speaking about land jihad and love jihad in Jharkhand and describing Maharashtra opposition as Aurangzeb's fan club. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, he was talking about his state becoming Muslim majority by 2041. His Rajasthan counterpart Bhajanlal Sharma sees no change in one category of people, quote unquote, one category of people when it comes to population control. And then BJP MLA Balmukund Acharya says that 4 Begums and 36 children will not be allowed. If the 2024 Lok Sabha results were a signal to Modi and Shah to shift from Hindutva politics to addressing issues like unemployment, inequality and day-to-day concerns of the common man, why are they not getting the message? Going by their past record, they should know the public pulse much better than you, I or the opposition. They obviously know something more than what others don't. Their political adversaries might be tempted to think that the BJP is doing communal politics because that's all it knows, or that it's mistaken in continuing with what one may call the politics of vicarious identification. So if someone is unemployed, they think that their turn has not come because 8 crore others have got the job. A middle class person would think that it's okay to pay much more for vegetables or petrol because an old mother in a village is getting a gas cylinder, because someone else is able to benefit under Ayushman Bharat scheme. And an unemployed person or an impoverished farmer would think that their sacrifice is worth making the country Vishwaguru. These presumptions about the BJP's politics of vicarious identity may still be valid, but the opposition should probably give more credit to Modi Shah, because if they could redefine Indian politics, they must know more than others. They are reading something different in the 2024 public mandate. The CSDS Lokaniti post-poll survey gives an indication. Yes, there was a slight dip from 2019 in the percentage of people being fully satisfied and somewhat satisfied with the government's performance, from 65% to 59%. But the most liked work of the government was still the construction of the Ram temple, as 22% voters said in that survey. Most disliked works of the Modi government were price rise and inflation, 24%, growing unemployment, 23%, and increasing poverty, 11%. But here's the catch: 40% of those for whom price rise, inflation was a big issue voted for the BJP, as against 21% for the Congress. For growing unemployment, the post-poll survey figures of voters read 36% for the BJP and 20% for the Congress. It's 32% for the BJP and 23% for the Congress for voters concerned about increasing poverty. If unemployment was such a big issue for voters, look at these data points from the CSDS Lokniti post-poll survey. I mean, look at it more closely. Among voters up to 25 years, 39% went for the BJP and 21% for the Congress. Compared to the 2019 Lok Sabha election, as the post-poll survey indicated, the BJP lost 1% and the Congress gained 1% in this category. For those between 26 and 35 years, the BJP got 37% and the Congress 21% votes. From 2019, the difference was 2 percentage points, down for the BJP and up for the Congress. These are not the figures that should excite the BJP's political adversaries, because as you have seen, those impacted by those issues or those concerns, I mean, a majority of them are voting for the BJP. The data I mentioned suggest that poverty and unemployment might be matters of concern for the people, but they do not necessarily drive their voting preferences. Modi Shah's politics post-polls suggest as much. They don't see anything amiss in the public mandate, not in terms of voters' rejection of their politics or governance. They seem to be looking for the fault somewhere within. Internal sabotage, failure to counter the opposition's propaganda about 400 par or 400 par, the RSS apathy, and allies below par performance, among others. Bad ticket distribution is obviously not a part of the discussion so far. That's a story in the works as the BJP conducts internal reviews and is hitting headlines, especially in UP, for all the wrong reasons. It's a developing story and I'll keep coming back to you with updates. That's all from me in this episode of Politically Correct. Thanks for watching.